Is the Canon EF 17 to 40mm worth buying in 2020? Stay tuned. What's up guys, Travis here, welcome back to yet another video. I just received my 17 to 40mm L lens by Canon, which I purchased it from Facebook and it shipped all the way from KL. Now I'm not sure about you, but for me, every time I heard about shipping with lenses, I'm very worried because you never know how hardcore they will throw your parcels, maybe to the truck or to the shopping center, or if you're not at home, they will just toss it into your house. But in this case, I have already received lens, safe and sound. So now this is a used unit of the 17 to 40mm lens because I do not want to spend too much money on an old model lens. As you guys haven't already know, this model has released or introduced since 2003. And of course, I believe that Canon has already released their 16 to 35mm lens, Mark 1, Mark 2, not sure is it a Mark 3, to replace this lens, which I believe it is an improved version for this lens. But anyhow, today's video I'll be talking about, is it still worth it to buy this model of lens in 2020? This video will also cover about the performance for this lens, like the sharpness, the distortion of this lens, the chromatic aberrations, and the price as well. So now let's talk about the basic specification for this lens. Now this lens has an aperture range of f4 all the way up to f22, which will give you a slight bokeh in background if you're shooting at f4. Now this lens has an aperture blades of 7, which means that your bokeh that you will get into your photo will be not as round as those 9 blades or 10 blades or 11 blades lenses. Now this lens weighs in at 470 grams, which is perfect for travelers or hikers that want to bring along with their cameras, and this will not weigh you down on your bag. The AF model type of this lens is using the USM model, which is the ultrasonic model, which provides you a quieter noise during focusing. Now the thread size for this lens is 77mm. If you have filters that is 77mm, you are able to fit right into this lens. If you want to check out more specifications of this lens, I'll link it down in the description below. The link will lead you to Canon's official website to show you more about the details. Now let's take a look at the sharpness of this lens. I've already taken some photos with this lens, so now let's jump into Lightroom to check those photos out. Okay, so now what you're seeing is the photo taken with the 17 to 40mm L lens. So now let's zoom into the middle, which I have my focus on. I could say that the sharpness from this lens is excellent. However, the sharpness will decrease as it moves towards the edge of the photo. Other than that, I will say this lens is sharp and performing very well. Let's take a look at the distortion of this lens because I'm pretty sure that wide angle lenses are bad at handling distortion. Here's a picture that I took without any distortion correction, and I could say that the lens has a little bit of fisheye effect. As you can see, the walls are curved. Just keep in mind that to correct the distortion by clicking the lens profile under lens correction in Lightroom. I could also say that Lightroom did a great job of correcting the distortion of this lens. As you can see, the walls are now straightened up. I'm not surprised that this lens have chromatic aberration, because like I said before, this model is introduced since 2003. Chromatic aberration usually occurs during when there's contrast between the edges of a subject. So here's a photo that the chromatic aberration is noticeable. Now if you're looking into this lens for videography, 17mm is a good focal range for video shooting. If you are worried about the noise that this lens produces during autofocusing, here's a simple noise test. I couldn't say that this lens is completely silent, however there's a noticeable noise produced during autofocusing. If you want me to compare to my 24mm to 105, which has a STM model, this lens lost the battle. Unfortunately, this lens also doesn't come with IS, so if you're using handheld to shoot most of your videos, it will introduce some camera shake. To counter this problem, just simply use a glide cam or a gimbal to smoothen out your footage. If you own a camera that has a digital stabilization like the EOS R, you can just turn it on during your handheld shots. Here's a comparison between the digital stabilization turned on and off. Lastly, let's talk about the price for this lens. If you purchase a brand new unit for this lens, it costs in around 3,139 ringgit Malaysia. Now this price is from KLDSLR. It may vary from 2,800 Malaysian ringgit to 3,400 ringgit. For a used unit, it costs in at around 1,300 ringgit Malaysia to 1,700 ringgit. The price also depends on the condition of the lens as well as the age of the lens. So if you ask whether is it still worth it to buy this lens in 2020, I could probably say yes if you purchase a second-hand unit. If you want to purchase a brand new unit, I would say that save up a little bit more to purchase the newer model, which is the 16 to 35mm lens. But if you're in a budget, this lens still does perform very well for videography as well as photography. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you love my content, please support me by hitting the subscribe button and like this video if you enjoy watching. And as always, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.